Welcome back to Ask the Lender. You typically hear that escrow will take 30 to 60 days, but what if you could close faster? Today, Craig Johnson with Canopy Mortgage shares how he's able to do the process much faster. He also shares just how fast an escrow can go. Typically, the industry says you need 30 to 60 day escrow. How are you able to move faster than that?
If you were to ask, 10 loan officers about that process from application to underwriting, 90% of them are going to say there's usually some pre-processing, some processing, pre-whatever, and that can take anywhere typically but 2 to 5 days, depending on the volume within that company. And again, that's just what it is. And then finally, it gets set up appropriately to then turn into underwriting. Well, Nano is so good and so efficient at taking those documents and allowing me as a loan officer to be able to initiate and confirm their income, credit, and assets really simply. It still blows me away that we can then submit that into our underwriters immediately. So if I take an application in the morning and we have received their documentation for income, assets, and obviously I've run their credit, we can literally submit that in an afternoon and have an underwritten loan probably within 24 hours or less.
That's
and
great.
Be ready to go. Yeah. So
it cuts out a lot of the time lag in between each step.
It does. It absolutely does. And it allows, the biggest thing is that I would say, I use the word uncertainty in the very beginning here, is it allows us to bring certainty. We've all been in situations where we've submitted something for an approval and we're on pins and needles hoping that it all comes out right. And after 29 years, I usually have, again, because of my vision that I've been blessed to have, we can see if there's going to be something that we want to make sure we're on top of. But I'm not the underwriter. I don't have the final decision-making power. So we definitely let underwriters underwrite and give us that certainty that we're looking for. And then once you hand somebody that approval based on credit, income, and assets, so they haven't even found a home yet. I mean, that's the other, part of this equation that I don't understand why our industry doesn't do that all the time. I have an idea why, and it's financial, because you're taking away, man hours, if you will, especially if you have pre-processing and pre-things before you get to underwriting. You've got to take, that time element, and there's a cost to that time. Then you've got to underwrite that loan, and obviously there's some time there. So, it's an expense challenge for a company to be able to deliver that consistently. Here at Canopy, we can deliver that immediately, and we do it immediately because we want to make sure that, when you take a client, obviously, Caleb, and you go out and look at homes, if they're ready to write an offer, we've already done it. We've done income, credit, and assets. So the only thing that, I'll need is the appraisal and the title report. And that's it. When you submit that offer, just like what we did on the transaction that we just recently closed, I'm able to call the listing agent. And as you know, one of the reasons why I accepted our offer is because we were going to be able to close that.
Yeah, we had a 15-day escrow and closed super fast on that one.
That's including weekends. Through that whole process, as we know, that specific client absolutely had all those certainty effects going through that process. It was what it is supposed to be. We're going to deliver that underwritten loan. We're going to be able to go shop as if they have that money in the bank already. So it's already there. And then it's just a matter of, obviously, you'll do a great job in the negotiation of the contract and the offer and make sure that they are utilizing their, funds in the best possible way. And then we put the deal together, close it, and then look for an opportunity to have a referral experience, right? We call it the Ritz-Carlton experience. because we've delivered such a great experience that they will want to tell their family, friends, and coworkers that if they're looking, to buy or sell real estate, they need to reach out to either you or I, and let's take care of them in the same way that we were blessed to take care of that particular client.
Sometimes people will ask, okay, what's the fastest you can do? We set up an escrow. How many days do we need? Is 10 days the fastest escrow that we would be able to do?
10 days is because there's the closing disclosure that we need signed, and there's 3 days right there. So we can't sign docs until those 3 days pass. But during that time, obviously, we'll get an appraisal out. We give some breath to the title company because they may take a day or two as well. Our offers are as good as cash because cash usually closes within 10 to 14 days as well. I think that's the other part of this. If we get to a place where cash offers kind of spike up, again, we'll be able to compete with those, and I'll be able to, make that phone call to that listing agent and tell them that we are as strong as your cash offer would be, because they still need at least 7 to 10 days to close. Client can't just walk into escrow with X amount of dollars and pay cash like they do at Target. That's not going to happen.
Of course, for sellers, being able to move out probably 15 days is better, but knowing that you can get as soon as 10 days for special situations that might come up is really good to know. Thanks, Craig, for joining me on this episode and sharing how you're able to move so quickly. Looking forward to sharing more in future episodes as we help clients start their real estate journey with confidence. If you're starting your real estate journey, reach out and let's make your dream home a reality.